I went outside and my car was stolen.
It's the real stuff, mom. 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 It's the real stuff, mom.
Alright guys, so listen, I'm back with another video. It's your girl Kay and I'm back with another video. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend that your girl is on her journey to 5K. Hold on, did I already reach 5K or did I reach 4K? I can't remember. Oh, I reached 4K. I'm on my journey to 5K. But anyways, guys, I'm up here and I'm doing story time. You can tell by the title of this video that I'm doing story time. So let me tell you how I went outside and my car was stolen the other day. So yeah, let me tell you, the other day I go outside, right? I parked my car after taking Cody to the vet. I haven't went back to my car since January 4th. So it was now January 6th and I went to my car because I was gonna go move it. Why did I go move my car and it wasn't there? So I'm like, all right. You know how sometimes you park your car and you can forget like exactly where your car is at? So I walk and I'm like, yo, I know I'm not bugging, but I really can't remember where my car is at. But I literally, by my house, only park in like the same places, like the same area. Like I don't park too far because it's way too cold, first of all. And then two, I be having Kyro sometimes, so I don't want to walk so far to my car. Long story short, I walked all the way around in the freezing cold with a shopping cart because I didn't know that I was originally going to not see my car. So I was about to go food shopping. I had a shopping cart. I was going to take clothes to my car because I was giving away clothes. It was just like crazy. So I had a shopping cart, no gloves, no scarf. Wasn't planning on walking around. And I ended up walking in circles and circles and circles. I'm like, yo, I don't see my car. So then I go and I'm like, yo, I see cones in the place that I think my car was, but I'm not for sure if my car was there. So you know how when you like panic and you can't really think straight. So I was like, all right, let me go in the house. I went in the house and I'm like, all right, I know that my phone on Google Maps, there's like a tracking thing. Like if you allow your phone to, it will track your car. I know that when I park my car, Google Maps will store like the last place that I parked it at. So I'm like, all right, let me check my phone. I checked my phone and it's like, all right, you parked at 577. It's like you parked at 577 Flushing Avenue. So I walked to 577 Flushing Avenue. I'm like, yo, where is my car? There was no car there. No car there. I'm like, nah. Somebody really stole my car because I'm like, all right, let me call 311 because, of course, the first thing you think of is like, all right, my car got towed. So I called 311. I called any tow place that you could think of when it comes to like the NYPD, the sheriff's office, the marshals, the boot people, 311, fire department. Like I called all these people and everybody's like, no, your car's not registered in the system. No, your car didn't get towed. No, your car didn't have a boot on it. So I'm like, yo, what the heck? So then where I was located at was a bunch of like, it was like a Jewish community. And so I'm like, all right, let me ask somebody that live over here, maybe if they have access to the cameras. So it's 4 cameras in front of that like block where I'm at. So I go to one of the buildings, there's no numbers. So I call, it was a number on the building that somebody, one of the residents left for like delivery. So there was a number a guy left in the bottom of the building for delivery. So I called that number and I'm like, I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but can you please give me the building manager or like the landlord's number so that I can call them and let them know my car was parked in front of here and it was stolen. So then he texted me the 2 numbers. I called, they both rang out. I'm like, all right, that's dead. In between that time, I called the police department and they like, oh, you just need to make a police report. I called the police department and it took like an hour for these people to come. But in between that time, I'm like looking at cameras, trying to look at cameras. So I go to the next residence, like right next door to it. And there's like a parking garage right next door to that. So I'm like, all right, let me try to go to the parking garage. There was nobody there. So then I seen somebody coming out of one of the buildings. I'm like, do you guys know if anybody have access to any of these cameras? So one of the guys said, I'm going to check to see if they have access inside of the place that I work at right here. So he went inside. He asked them. And they like, no, I don't have access to the camera. Let me call a guy that has access to the camera. And then they're like, what happened? What kind of car was it? So I explained to them what kind of car was it. The guy's like, oh, I got that car towed. I said, what? He said, yeah, private company towed the car. So then they start talking in their language. And then he's like, call 311. I don't know where the car is at. So I'm like, after I give you the description of my car, you saying you got this car towed. So he basically was saying that it was blocking his driveway. He couldn't get in, so he got the car towed. But I'm like, so where did you get it towed to? He's saying he don't have the information, so he left. He's like, oh, I'm in a rush, I gotta go. So he left. He left, and I waited for the cops to come. They came, they circled the block because they like, all right, maybe that wasn't your car because we called and that wasn't registered. So they had me driving around. They drove me in a cop car. They drove me like around 4 blocks. I ain't see my car. I'm like, all right. I get out there like, all right, let's try one more thing. Let us try to ask them, because you know people respond to law enforcement more than they would for a random person. So they went inside and they like, all right, can somebody tell me what happened with the car that was towed over here, and what like where was it towed to, like who picked it up? So the guy told him it was a private towing company, which why it wasn't registered yet, because private towing companies, they take forever to register the stuff. So they told him it was a private towing company, and next thing you know, they had like 10 of them outside calling people. They finally got the person who originally spoke to me, who left and didn't want to give me the information. They finally got in contact with him, told him the cops was there. So then he finally gave them the number to the people he originally called, which all of this could have been settled in like the matter of 10 seconds. When I first asked him, he could have just looked at his phone and gave me the number. But it said that law enforcement had to get involved, and it was just this big thing for no reason. So the cops was very nice, actually. They was telling me that instead of them making a report right away, they want to see if they could find out where it was towed to first, because they don't want me to go through the hassle of driving in a car that law enforcement think is stolen, and then they pull me over and all this other stuff. So the guy gave them the number. So now they calling they call a number. The number that they called, the guy was saying like, oh, we don't actually have nobody to tow. So we referred them to somebody else. So they're like, okay, now we got to find out that number. So they gave them the number to who they referred them to. The police called that number, and it was a private company. And they said, oh, we do have the vehicle. Guys, it was so frustrating. Like, it was so frustrating. When I tell you it was so frustrating, like, little simple words could have solved this problem hours earlier. But because he was being so shitty, he didn't give me the number, and he was acting like he just didn't know, and I need to wait for 311. So they called, they told me my vehicle was that I had to pay $185. Basically, and I had a ticket on top of that. Basically, what they were saying was the tail of my car was inside of the driveway, I guess, a little bit. So I don't even know if it was really that serious in terms of parking and he couldn't get in his driveway, or if he was just being a nut. But either way, guys, long story short, people are very cruel. Like, he could have just genuinely told me what happened. But because he was mad that my car was blocking his driveway, he didn't tell me what tow company he used. And I'm guessing that's why he didn't, because he was pissed off. Mind you, I didn't purposely park in his driveway. Like, I would never purposely just park in front of somebody's driveway. The tail of my car was, I guess, too far out, and he couldn't get in. But I was pissed. It took up so much of my day, so much of my time. I was freezing cold. Hands was brick cold. Had to go take an Uber all the way. Thanks to Shamir. She paid for my Uber to get to thing, because I didn't have, like, nothing with me. Like, and my phone was about to die. It was just, like, crazy. So I had to go get my car. I had to pay $185 on top of a ticket. And I had to come back home, and like I was just nervous. It was very traumatic, because now I was just scared to park my car anywhere. Like, I was just like mad nervous. Like, all right, I don't want to leave my car nowhere. First of all, I spent hours thinking somebody stole my whole vehicle. Like, it was just mad traumatizing. But the moral of the story is, guys, when you park your car, double check that it's parked in a spot, especially in New York City, that you can park in. Also, if you don't have to move your car, if you're in New York City, and although there's alternate side parking and we luck up sometimes and you don't have to move it, always just go double check on your car, like, after a day or two, just to make sure, like, everything is still fine. I also recommend you download Google Maps or whatever kind of system your car company may use that has, like, a car tracker, because realistically, guys, if the cops didn't come and was, like, if they weren't proactive, because technically they could have just came and made the report and went about their business, and then I would have to wait for the private company to upload the stuff into the system, take it to the precinct, for the precinct to upload it into 311 that my vehicle was towed. No telling how long that was going to take, because it was a private company. But basically, if they weren't proactive, I would have no idea where my car was at. So download those tracking systems. If y'all didn't already, y'all should. And then lastly, just know that people really are genuinely cruel. And if you're one of those people who like are like shitty to people because they did something that may have been a mistake, I'm telling you, like, be considerate and just like not, please, because that wasn't called for. I didn't genuinely park in that spot on purpose. So the way he treated me and all the stuff I had to go through, like, imagine I had my son outside with me. Like, I would have been in the cold with my son looking for something that he knows was told. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not that type of person that like hold grudges or want to get back to people, because you just never know why somebody genuinely. Now, if I blatantly parked in front of his garage, then that's a different story. But guys, that was my story time. I was very annoyed. I was over life. I wasted so many hours of my day in the cold doing that. Because of that, I had an extreme headache. Still had to send to Kyro. My throat was hurting. It was just like crazy. But long story short, yeah, guys, that was the vet. I am terrified to leave my car anywhere now. So yeah, that's that.